Football is a game of peaks and troughs, form swings and slumps, a roller coaster for players, coaches and especially for fans. After a promising start to the season, Wellington are staring down the barrel of a third straight home loss for the first time in 8 years. To avoid that, they'll need to repel the pre-scoring red-hot Reds, fresh from a convincing win over last year's champions with only 10 men and with a top 2 table spot in their sights. Contrasting form lines collide in New Zealand's capital. Welcome to Wellington for Saturday afternoon football. In the sunshine, in the Isuzu UTE League, the Wellington Phoenix hosting Adelaide United, live here on Sky Sport. Another cracker afternoon in New Zealand's capital, nothing but blue skies. A light breeze, I think you'd call it if you're a local. Jacob Spoonley alongside. This feels already like a season-defining game for Wellington, given their first half dozen outings. Is that stretching the case a bit much?
Momentum needs to be maintained heading into Christmas, and this is a match to do that. See a handshake go awry there. But it's absolutely brilliant conditions here in the capital for two sides that want to play football. Resilience and variety are the order of the day for the Phoenix. More of the same for Adelaide United.
They emerge from the shadows and into the light. The bright shining light of Wellington sunshine down here on the green grass of Sky Stadium. The home side, Wellington Phoenix, backed by their most loyal of fans in yellow fever. Alex Rufer, always the steely determination on the face of Wellington Phoenix's skipper. Adelaide United welcome back their captain, Craig Goodwin, after he sat out last week. Youth is well and truly the order of the day. So many young players. There's one of them, Panache Madana, who gets a first start in a couple of years this afternoon. And youth sprinkled everywhere across these two squads. Giancarlo Italiano makes just the one change to the Phoenix 11 that started against Macarthur a week ago. Dan Edwards earns his first A-League start. He slots into the left side of the back three. Lucas Kelly-Heald moves into midfield. Kazuki Nagasawa moves further forward. Finroa Conchi drops out. That's the graphic as we see it, but look for Carlo Armiento to perhaps operate in a more advanced attacking role. For just the third time in 6 games this season, there are changes to the Adelaide starting 11. 3 of them, in fact. Dylan Parias is suspended after being sent off in their win over Melbourne City last Friday. Panache Madana comes into right back, his first A-League start since November 2023. Ryan Kitto and Juan Muni both miss out with illness. Craig Goodwin returns and takes the armband. 19-year-old Fabian Taladera slots into left back for his first start of the season. Potential A-League debuts for Adelaide teenagers Vinko Stanisic and Joey Garuccio. For Wellington, Luke Brooks-Smith returns after missing last weekend. Every Wellington substitute is under the age of 23. The pressure is starting to mount ever so slightly on Phoenix boss Giancarlo Italiano. The second derby of the season looming next weekend. He's in need of a boost to his side's fortunes after back-to-back home losses and just 1 win in 5 to start the season. Adelaide United boss Etan Andrioli brings his side to New Zealand for the second time this month. After a narrow 2-1 loss to Auckland FC at the start of November, the Reds have won the last 2 on the bounce, scoring 6 goals and conceding just 1 in those 2 outings. Phoenix attacker Carlo Armiento began his A-League men's career with Adelaide, playing 5 games off the bench as a teenager in the 2018-19 season. He's also had time with Perth Glory and Brisbane Roar before his move to the Knicks. 20-year-old Adelaide striker Luka Jovanovic has scored in each of his last 3 matches. He also has 3 goals in 5 games against Wellington, the joint most he scored against any single A-League club. In fact, he scored the winner here in round 13 last season. Daniel Elder is on the whistle, his second visit to Wellington this season after overseeing the round 2 clash with Brisbane, assisted by Brad Wright and Adam Powers. Kelvin Berg, the 4th official. Kate Jackowitz is on VAR duty today, assisted in the booth by Jonathan Barrero. We're underway at Sky Stadium. Wellington Phoenix in gold and black, attacking the goal to left of screen in this first half. Adelaide in their white away strip. They'll be kicking from left to right in the first half. Wellington have lost 4 of their last 5 home matches, including their last 2 in a row. The last time they lost 3 straight home games, December 2017. Meantime, Adelaide United haven't won any of their last 10 away matches. The last time they did win on the road was here, a 2-1 victory at Sky Stadium in round 13 last season. The first thing we noticed at kickoff was the advanced position of Carlo Armiento. There he is in the centre circle right now. Are you expecting, Jacob, a more advanced attacking brief for Carlo Armiento today?
Oh, what a scene setter for you. Statistics and context aplenty. Awesome work, Piney. Kia ora, everybody. Well, it does look like Carlo Armiento is going to occupy a number 10 position, so we're not seeing a formation change from Chiefy, but more of a personnel wrinkle. Finn Ruakonchi, who was occupying that spot, has dropped to the bench, and Carlo now, hopefully, from Chiefy's perspective, will be able to get on the ball more often. Of course, that does mean that Dan Edwards is occupying the left wing back role, and if you heard Ben Sigmund in the build-up, mongrel, and he expects Dan Edwards to inject some of that down the left-hand side for the Wellington Phoenix.
It is a compliment, I think, the phrase in a footballing sense. There he is, bottom of screen. Dan Edwards played semi-professionally in Melbourne for the past 5 seasons and joined Wellington from NPL Victoria Premier's Avondale FC. Looking forward to seeing him with his first start. Adelaide United missing a couple of key players today. Dylan Farias sent off last week and suspended for this one. And a bout of illness, as we mentioned pre-game, as Josh Oluwaemi and Dan Edwards come together, and that is nasty. As the head clash, perhaps. Oluwaemi and Dan Edwards, not used to playing together very often in the past. As we said, it's his first start, Dan Edwards. What did you see unfold here, Jacob?
Well, it was outside the 18-yard box, and everyone was waiting for the ball to make up its mind as to what it was going to do. Dan Edwards is trying to block off Mandanda, and just a bit of a shove at the end there as he tries to get pressure on Oluwaemi. As you say, the collateral in all of this is Oluwaemi's ribs. Edwards' shoulder barrels into the goalkeeper. He's back up on his feet now, though.
Interesting to see Panache Madana so far advanced as well. He slotted into that right-back position, vacated by Dylan Farias. Ryan Kiddo and Juan Muni, as mentioned, not here either because of illness. We wish you all the best for a speedy recovery. We welcome you in South Australia as well, Adelaide United fans tuning into our coverage. Great to have you with us on a sunny Saturday in Wellington. Your team, of course, getting the boost of a 4-1 win over Melbourne City last Friday night at a jumping Cooper Stadium. And Ayrton Andrioli just starting to get a pretty handy tune out of his mostly young charges.
There's an air of confidence about Adelaide United as they warmed up. Never in a rush, and that's always a sign of a side that has a plan and is executing on it.
Lucas Kelly-Heald has remained in the back 3 as the left-sided central defender. Mandrake James and Isaac Hughes alongside. So Dan Edwards has certainly just gone into that left-back role that Carlo Armiento has occupied for the first 5 games of the season. You find Eze looking to get some change out of Bart Vriens, unable to win the throw. Rufer. And here is Mandrake James as he will go all the way home to Oluwaemi. Craig Goodwin back in the side. Great to see him back out there after sitting out last weekend. Vastly experienced captain of Adelaide. 210th A-League game this afternoon. Rufer combines with Nazarene, who looks forward towards Edwards. Madana does just enough. Cooley in his 50th match for Adelaide, dispossessed. Sheridan gets forward. Thought about the cross. Nazarene instead might be the one who provides it.
Already more energy than we saw out of the Wellington Phoenix last week. Dan Edwards and Matt Sheridan, the wing-backs, not only advanced, but in combative mood.
Grew up in Whangaparoa, Dan Edwards, a few doors down from Corbin Piper, who's among the substitutes today. Junior football at Hibiscus Coast, Forest Hill, Milford and Birkenhead United. Spent some time in the United States at university. There is Corbin Piper, his former neighbour. No doubt we'll get to see some minutes out of Corbin Piper off the bench this afternoon as his return to play continues to be managed.
The fans are clearly hungry for more of what they've seen out of Piper so far. But as you say, Piney, minutes being managed at the moment, a long-term injury. It just means that he has to start off the bench, but when he comes on, attitude and energy are plenty.
Latest Phoenix attack is cleared. James and Sheridan. And as you say, Jacob, there's more energy about this Wellington side already today than there was in the entire 90 minutes last week. Amiento pulls it back. It's going to fall to Webber. Till line out the shot.
Tempo. We talked about it repeatedly in the build-up. We've seen it already. We've seen the variety. The Wellington Phoenix are happy to try and draw Adelaide in, but then they want to punch out wide. And Dan Edwards, only 5 odd minutes into his debut, his A-League debut, and already he's shown what he's about. A tackle and now tests the palms of Smits.
Corner coming for Wellington into a crowded 6-yard area. Kelly Hill with the header. Back towards Rufer. And up and over from the skipper. That is Wellington's 32nd attacking corner of the season without a goal just yet. Set pieces, no doubt, a bit of a work on for Giancarlo Italiano.
Welcome to Jason Pine's own personal crusade, ladies and gents. Oh, look, it is a reflection of the fact that at times they've had sustained pressure on sides. They've won corners, but unfortunately the Wellington Phoenix, from Chiefy's perspective, haven't been able to turn possession and pressure into product with as much frequency as they would have liked.
Adelaide goalkeeper Josh Smits already giving up goal kick duties to Paniotis Kikianis. From memory, we saw that up in Auckland when the Reds played Auckland FC, that Josh Smits gave up those duties. It's not something you see very often.
No, and it's probably indicative of a niggle that he's got. Remember that he did go down early in that match, and moments after, stopped taking his own goal kicks.
Wellington look to continue this energetic start. Nazarene in the centre circle gets away from the couple of would-be tacklers and frees up Edwards, who's showing out early. Eze, Nagasawa and Amiento in the area. Towards the far post, Sheridan back across goal. This is a very bright start from Wellington.
And just to hammer home the point, that's 2 of the wing-backs getting involved. They are not sitting back here, the Wellington Phoenix. They are committing numbers forward. And at the moment, Adelaide is struggling to deal with that box midfield.
There's Edwards again. Once again, Eze is out left. Amiento in the area. And flying in with a good tackle, Panache Madana. 21-year-old. It is a very young backline for Adelaide United today. Bart Vriens is the exception at 34. Now it's Nagasawa's turn to look to create in wide areas. So Vriens 34, Madana 21, Kikianis 20, and Taladera 19. But as has been mentioned numerous times, Etan Andrioli, a big fan of youth, worked with a lot of those players as the Adelaide United head of youth football over the last 5 years. Rufer rips one in, looking for Nazarene. Adelaide looking to pass this one out, and they've just about managed it. It's Fabian Taladera. And at left back for Ryan Kitto.
And James already with a serve for those in front of him. Lots been made of the high line, but pressure on the ball has been the issue for the Wellington Phoenix. And Mandrake James making that point, especially Piney. I'm going to stress this today. Madana and Taladera could break the line. If Adelaide do what they want, which is commit numbers inside, those late wide runs are the way that they can slingshot forward and circumnavigate the pressure that the Wellington Phoenix are looking to assert.
Armiento and Vriens come together. Vriens won that particular battle, the Dutch defender. There's Alagic and Dizelle looking to combine in midfield, but it's given up, and then Dizelle gives up the free kick on Carlo Armiento. The Dizelle-Alagic midfield combination has been eye-catching so far this season.
It has, and expect them, once Adelaide get a foothold in this match, to become very prominent. But at the moment, Luke Dizelle in particular, cutting a frustrated figure. Just to explain it, effectively, Adelaide United's central pairing in midfield of Dizelle and Alagic are up against 4 for the Wellington Phoenix. So they've got a duo to contend with each.
Set-piece situation for Wellington. Carlo Armiento to deliver towards a throng of players on the edge of the penalty area. How's the timing of the runs? It's pretty good. And James, straight at Smits. Mandrake James looking for his first Wellington Phoenix goal.
We talked about Carlo Armiento's delivery, expecting it to be from open play, but from the dead ball, deliciously delivers into the back post. Look at the pace, the curl, and then the accuracy to find Mandrake James at that back stick. Bart Vriens got in all sorts. Ultimately found himself underneath that one, and James, unfortunately, for the Wellington Phoenix, couldn't steer it beyond Smits.
Adelaide United just having trouble getting a foothold in this game right now. I just wonder whether the wind might be an issue. They did come to Wellington on Wednesday with the expression tension of getting used to the conditions, and Ayrton Andrioli said, well, we got a bit of wind. He asked me if I ever get used to it. I said, no, I've lived here my whole life and haven't really. Here's Dan Edwards, and Vriens comes across. Another corner coming in the way of the Phoenix.
Well, prepare for wind, and you get weather you'd expect at home, but Dan Edwards, look at the industry, the run, interchange with Carlo Armiento, who's dropped into that pocket, and then Edwards is gone. That's the energy that we're talking about. Simply asking questions. Does a defender want to come with you? And Dan Edwards that time eventually forced a response from Adelaide. But it's a question that we didn't see enough of last week against Macarthur for the Phoenix.
Second corner of the afternoon. Nagasawa to take towards the far post. Arriving Rufer! Alex Rufer opens the scoring for Wellington. And the 33rd corner of Wellington Phoenix's season bears fruit. Wellington lead it at home.
Well, they've deserved that, the Wellington Phoenix. The talk has been, what was the response going to be after the derby? It didn't happen last week, but we've seen it immediately here. The men in black and yellow have stood up, and it's come from a set piece, and it's come by way of the captain. Watch this at the back post. It's a clear move. They've prepared for this. Adelaide United have a blind spot, and it's at that back stick. No one gets pressure on Alex Rufer. Ghosts in, guides it under Smits, and Wellington Phoenix have landed a punch off a flush hit from Alex Rufer.
He does not score many, just his 6th Phoenix goal in game number 172, but he is pumped up, and I think a lot of people have been waiting to see this from Alex Rufer, who is going to take this club by the scruff of the neck and pull them out of the chasm into which they have fallen. And the answer is the man with the armband, Alex Rufer.
Well, Chiefy actually made the Wellington Phoenix team sit in the seats of Yellow Fever. The connection between the fans and the players, he clearly felt wasn't there. And who better to re-establish that connection than the captain and Alex Rufer?
Just the second time this season the Phoenix have opened the scoring. They drew 1-1 with the Mariners on the other occasion. Meantime, Adelaide have lost both games in which they have conceded first this season. Inside. Well, it really felt like it was coming. As energetic a start to a game for Wellington as we've seen all season. Lethargy has been a problem. Giancarlo Italiano even admitted it himself in pre-game, said we've been a bit lethargic on occasion. It's been the opposite today. It's been energy and intent.
More than that, they look like they're enjoying themselves, which we haven't seen from this Wellington Phoenix side for, I'd say, the better part of a season. Now, obviously, it's a small sample size, 15 minutes in the context of what was a good start to this season and then falling away during and after the derby. But equally, Ayrton Andrioli, he'll want a response now from his Adelaide United side. We know they've got goals in them. Those goals can come from anywhere, but at the moment, we haven't seen enough of those dangerous players on the ball.
Matt Sheridan, now that's a really interesting little insight there from Matt Sheridan. His first look was back, and I just wonder whether in that right wing back role, his first thought needs to be forward. Still a young player, still learning his trade, and he might get the opportunity now. In fact, it's Nazarene who's wide right. Sheridan blasts past him in the area. Matt Sheridan pulls it back for Armiento. Blocked by Kikianis, and then Sheridan goes down in the area. Flag up on the far side for offside.
It was good interplay, good combination between Nazarene and Matt Sheridan. We didn't see it the first time, but the second time of asking, Matt Sheridan bursts into the area. He creates this chance. The pass is underhit by Nazarene, but then Matt Sheridan picks the pocket of Yaya Dakuli. Now, Carlo Armiento, it is a part of being an attacking player, it's a part of someone that seeks the goal, but perhaps was he unreasonably selfish there? The Wellington Phoenix had runners that were arriving late, and Carlo only had eyes for the goal.
The rebound off the heels of Kikianis, rebounded to Matt Sheridan, who found himself in an offside position. As Yaya Dakuli came through to challenge him, it looks like he's picked up a knock, so we just have a slight delay in proceedings. Adelaide United have the historical advantage in this fixture. They've won 24 matches to Wellington's 12 with 15 draws.
Now just have a look at this. There's a couple of conferences going on in the Adelaide United ranks. Suspect that Yaya Dakuli has probably stayed down a little bit longer than you would otherwise need for an injury, and this is game management. Adelaide United, I don't think they've even taken a step in the direction of the game plan that Andrioli has set down for them here today, and it looked like Bart Friends was holding court with the help of the likes of Johnny Yule and Craig Goodwin. So the senior players in Goodwin and Friends just grabbing the side, pulling them back together and reminding them that they've got 70 minutes left in this match.
And plenty of attacking threats as well. Goodwin himself, of course, Luka Jovanovic and others. Look at that, 8 touches for Wellington in the opposing penalty area. Adelaide have yet to touch the ball in Josh Oluwaimi's penalty area. And we're approaching the 20-minute mark. It's quite remarkable for a side that prides itself on attacking intent. Eze loses out in midfield, but Wellington win it back through Armiento. Twists and turns and then looks to rake a pass over towards Sheridan.
Just saw again there, deference from Sheridan. Looked for a senior player, wanted to get the ball into Nazarene. I think the better opportunity there for the Wellington Phoenix was Matt Sheridan putting his head down and trying to attack out wide. Just seeing the move break down here, and the Phoenix have had to satisfy themselves with a bit of movement side to side as opposed to trying to hit Adelaide again in an attack.
The lack of possession for Adelaide might just be frustrating the likes of Jovanovic, who you saw drop in there to try and get possession. 2/3 of possession for Wellington in the first 19 minutes. Rufer, nice to slide one into Edwards. It finds its way to Armiento. Tries a little nutmeg on Friends. Edwards pulls it back for Nagasawa. Kelly Heald just on at the same wavelength as his teammates, and that'll drift harmlessly behind for a goal kick.
I talked about the contrast in form as well. The contrast in the way this match has been played in the first 20 minutes is fairly stark. Wellington Phoenix, there's a confidence that was absent for the last 180 odd minutes. As soon as the ball gets into the midfield, the runs are coming, almost demanding the ball from the likes of Alex Rufer and Nagasawa. For Adelaide at the moment, as you pointed out, they simply aren't getting the ball. And when they're defending, they're not getting pressure on the Wellington Phoenix.
Here's Sheridan again, in towards Eze. It came over the top of Kikianis. Eze perhaps unsighted by that and couldn't find the purchase he was after, but good to see one whipped in from the right by Matt Sheridan.
Well, Eze drops into the space between the two centre-backs in the shadow of Kikianis. And that Wellington sunshine might have just meant that Eze didn't have a dead side on the ball. Kikianis, though, didn't know where Eze was.
The visitors keen to pass it out from the back, and they've beaten the press and now perhaps might profit from that with Alagich forward towards Dinesh Madana, who's all the way forward at centre forward, the right back. He's clearly been given licence to get forward as much as he can. The young, I was going to say fullback, he's more of a utility player, and we're used to seeing him in an attacking sense as well for Adelaide.
Looks like he's been given licence to slingshot down the right, and if he needs to head inside, Johnny Yule seems to be taking up a deeper position, perhaps more centrally under Jovanovic.
Nagasawa over towards Edwards. Now Madana has some defensive work to do and chests it calmly back to Smits. Josh Smits, Bart Vriens and Panakikianis have played every minute of the season. It's been a very settled 11 for the most part for Adelaide United until today, really, with illness and suspension forcing 3 changes, including both fullbacks. This is better from Adelaide. Yull sets up to Cooley down the left. Is he going to be able to rake that one in? It won't matter because the flag is up.
A very disciplined line there from the Wellington Phoenix under all sorts of pressure. And it came about because Luke Dizelle has had enough. And he is getting in a pocket between the two centre-backs. He wants to get on the ball. And then Ethan Alagich, the intuitive play that we've seen between the two centre midfielders, they combine to get a bit of tempo, to get a bit of rhythm for Adelaide, and they're able to play off the back of that foundation.
Adelaide United will absolutely believe that they are well and truly in this match, even though the first quarter of it has gone by now and they've had very little in the way of attacking chances. They have scored at least 2 goals in each of their last 6 matches against Wellington.
Add to that a wonderful stat that you mentioned in the pre-game. 4 of the last 5 home games for the Wellington Phoenix have been losses. The aura of Sky Stadium has been chipped away at, and the fear factor for sides heading over the Tasman to Wellington isn't there as it once was.
Yeah, you mentioned it in pre-game as well. Away venues aren't supposed to be nice places to visit, are they? They're supposed to be hostile environments that teams hate coming to.
You're going to take a stab at in the dark about the word that Uni Merrick added to "don't be nice."
I tell you, if you're talking about hostile environments, Adelaide United with Cooper Stadium, that's the blueprint in this league. Nobody likes going there. Just the home support, the crowd right on top of you, the energy created, and last Friday was a great example of that, as Adelaide beat Melbourne City in front of a delighted home support at Coopers.
We're starting to see variation in personality and identity come back to the A-League. After COVID, things got rattled somewhat. The transition between being a league that sought competition, wanted scale, now to a development league, a clear intent to develop and sell younger players. And this season, as you said, there's a return to Friday nights at Coopers, put alongside that Suncorp Stadium, and this bruising machine that Michael Valkanis is putting together.
And they opened the round last night, Brisbane, with a 1-0 win over Melbourne Victory. Took them to the upper echelons of the table, to second, in fact, for the meantime anyway. Melbourne Victory, just the 1 win in 6.
Well, that top 6 is now becoming very interesting, especially with the Sydney derby later on tonight. Auckland, top of the table for the opening stages. Now sides starting to creep up on them.
That That is not a difficult one for the referee to adjudicate, as Isuzu flies into the back of Bart Vriens, gives him a friendly pat on the back. Vriens seemed relatively unaffected by it all. He's probably had the odd striker charge into the back of him during his long professional career.
Fairly callous there from Isuzu. Over the last 5 minutes, we've just seen Adelaide starting to turn things. Keeping possession, often looking to build play out from deep, but longer periods where they can start to implement what they're trying to do at Sky Stadium today.
This is good from Nazarene. Rufa can't keep the move going, but it does find its way through to Armiento, operating in that little pocket of space. He wants it back. Look at Armiento buzzing around, wanting the ball off his teammates. Get the feeling perhaps that even though he accepted the need to play in that left wing-back role, that he always favours a position where he's got a bit more licence in those pockets between the midfield and the strikers.
And one other element to this variety, to this expanding the playbook, is Mandrake James playing in a right centre-back position. Early in the season, he's been deployed as the anchor. Hughes and Kelly Heald playing alongside him. Now he's on the right-hand side, and what we're seeing is Alex Rufer playing on the left. A very clear strategy here to pose more questions to opponents. What we saw against MacArthur is the Phoenix wanting to play centrally, to work the ball forward, and to play through Alex Rufer. That created a choke point, which Caceres, Luke Bratton, and Liam Rose all sufficiently suffocated the Wellington Phoenix. This is much more expansive.
Perhaps a touch of frustration there from Yaya DeCooley, and plenty of experience there from Mandrake James. The ball wasn't going to find the touchline, so Mandrake James just positioning himself. And DeCooley giving up the foul. There's the top six. Sydney FC have won the last 4 in a row. They play the derby tonight, the first Sydney derby of the season against the Western Sydney Wanderers. That is a live ladder, of course, with Wellington Phoenix sneaking into the top 6 if it stays this way. Goodwin trying to put pressure on Oluwayemi. Adelaide just searching for some sort of cohesion and a bit of possession to build some confidence, but again it's with Wellington. That one's aimed for Sheridan from Armiento, but too narrow.
Not quite sure what Armiento was looking for there, if it was Eze or if it was Sheridan. Eze made a good run, which meant that Sheridan had a motorway down the right-hand side. Perhaps skewed off the boot of Armiento.
Again, it's a very rare misplaced pass from Ethan Elliott. He's probably only given the ball away about 2 or 3 times in the whole season. It's just very unlike Adelaide United this afternoon.
It's very direct. And we've heard from the likes of Brisbane, who've already come here to Sky Stadium, that they got fixated with the high line. They wanted to break it as early and as often as they could, and perhaps we've seen too much direct play from Adelaide United. A lot of straight balls to straight runs so far. We're not seeing what we typically see from Adelaide United, which is working that ball through the centre channel, getting that tempo up, those short, sharp passes.
Carlo Armiento on the end of a challenge from Bart Vriens. It didn't look too serious, but Armiento has stayed down for the meantime, is going to receive a bit of treatment. So the Sydney derby later on tonight. It's at CommBank in just over 4 hours from now, first one of the season. And even though Sydney FC are top, and as I say, have won their last 4, and Western Sydney only won their first match of the season last weekend, all bets are off on Derby Day. In between this game and that one, the Mariners host Melbourne City at Gosford, so another Saturday triple header for you in the Isuzu UTE A-League.
No easy games in the A-League, and Central Coast will arguably not face one at home tonight. City, talk about motivation. Well, immediately after the game, when the gaffer comes out and calls out the majority of the team, you're expecting a hard week of training heading into a side in the Mariners squarely between the crosshairs.
I get the feeling Newcastle might have a similar response from Auckland FC tomorrow. Steve Corica, I think I've never seen him as angry after a game as he was after the 1-1 draw with Brisbane a week ago. Auckland FC, Newcastle Jets tomorrow. Go Media Stadium. Our coverage starts at 2:30. Kick-off around 3. Here's Eze, surrounded by Adelaide players and can't quite hang on to the ball.
Well, that tells the story there. 26 entries into the final third for the Wellington Phoenix. 10 for Adelaide United. Touches inside the box, 10 for the Wellington Phoenix. 31 minutes in, and Adelaide, with all their attacking arsenal, have not forced a save from Josh Oloayemi and haven't got into the Wellington Phoenix's 18-yard.
It is just utterly mystifying for a team that's scored 10 goals this season already, the second top goal scorers in the A-League through 5 rounds, to not have a touch in the opposition penalty area through over half an hour. It's just inexplicable, unexplainable. Eze off his shoulder. Doesn't have a lot of friends around at the moment. Ifeanyi Eze might not need any friends. Ifeanyi Eze, 3 goals already this season, looking for number 4.
The man is a nuisance, often plays by himself, multifaceted aspects to his game, loves the confrontation. This time wins himself the chance. Look at the touch, isolates Kikianis, backing on that left foot, goes beyond Taladera and scares Smith's crossbar. Would have been one of the solo goals of the season so far.
His last goal in the A-League was at that end against Auckland FC, another specky into the top corner. He gets himself involved, Ifeanyi Eze. Saw a stat during the week that he's been involved in more duels, which I guess are one-on-one confrontations in a football match, than any other player in the entire competition.
Shock you're not familiar with a duel, Piney. But look, I think to answer the question that you posed, how are the Wellington Phoenix nullifying this potent Adelaide United side? The answer, I think, is in possession. We know the Wellington Phoenix this season have dominated possession. At times, 60%, 70%, even north of that over the course of 90 minutes. It is a remarkable stat.
Another set-piece situation for Wellington. They'll go short to Rufer, who's already got 1 goal today. Armiento helps it in. It all fizzled out, rather, for Wellington, and now perhaps a chance for Adelaide to counter-attack. To Cooley. Craig Goodwin is ahead of him if he can find him. Can't. Sheridan in the way. To Cooley. Takes the ball into the penalty area, and finally, in the 34th minute of the game, Adelaide have a touch inside Wellington's penalty area.
That's what Andrioli would have been hoping for. Winning the ball in the middle of the park. Wellington Phoenix have committed numbers forward, and Adelaide United counter-attack into open space. I just felt De Cooley there could have taken on Matt Sheridan. It was a 1v1. He had reinforcements through the middle, but equally the angle was still there for De Cooley to try and test the palms of Oloayemi.
Craig Goodwin going to take the resulting corner. His 162nd A-League men's match for Adelaide, the club's 4th all-time leading appearance maker. Shields his eyes from the sun, sizes up his options, delivers towards the penalty spot. Johnny Yull not able to control. Elegich rips it back out towards Goodwin, but his ball is cut out. Craig Goodwin has scored 10 goals against the Phoenix in the A-League, more than he scored against any other club. So he likes this opposition.
We talked about Ayrton Andrioli being happy with what he saw moments ago. Well, that'll be frustrating for the coach. I think it was Yaya Dekuli down the left-hand side. Here's a good pressure on the ball, but Jovanovic, Goodwin and Yule all standing in offside positions.
Sheridan looking for options in the area. None apparent at the moment. Edwards arriving. Madana gets there first. Falls the way of Armiento. Edwards again. Dan Edwards towards the far post. Too big for anyone. But Sheridan's going to haul it in. Mandrake James loops one up, and Josh Smits, I think, combination of perhaps the aerodynamics of the ball and the wind made it a little difficult for him.
Well, that certainly wasn't the most confident piece of goalkeeping you'll ever see.
Closer! 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 Get closer! Closer! Half and half, Carlo. Now go! Now go!
You can hear the instructions from the sideline.
All the way, all the way.
Giancarlo Italiano is effectively instructing every football movement. He'll run out of voice before half-time if he's not careful. Nagasawa is the target. Uses his body to good effect and gets it away from Taladera. Wellington just running out of ideas for the meantime, but here's Najarine. Rebounds up and Smits will have no problem. Rami Najarine looking for his first Wellington Phoenix goal. His last goal was for Western United, round 25 last season. Yet to open his account for his new team.
Yes, Robbie! Go, Robbie!
Now he's told to chase by Italiano. Oluwayemi all the way out of his box and deals with the long ball competently enough. Falls to Goodwin though. But even he can't hold on to possession in the face of Wellington's press. Did that on an arm of James? No, says the referee. And in tight areas, Wellington have done well, but the pass from Rufa too far ahead of Dan Edwards.
It was a good early call from Josh Oluwayemi. Took the sting out of the attack, and then the Wellington Phoenix managed to pinch it off the feet of Craig Goodwin. Just watch the passing, the punching by the Wellington Phoenix. Drew Adelaide in, and they had runners down the left. The Phoenix, Dan Edwards, and I think even Lucas Kelly-Hill, the centre-back, being adventurous.
Here's Elegich being adventurous into the path of Panache Madana. Can he make room for a shot? Coming across with an important intervention. Lucas Kelly-Hill to the cheers of the crowd, but at the expense of a corner.
Well, the crowd understands that was an important moment. Lucas Kelly-Hill facing his own goal at full stretch. Madana looking to cruise in on Oluwayemi. But Adelaide now starting to test the elasticity of the Wellington Phoenix's backline.
Second corner again to be taken by Craig Goodwin. This one will favour the in-swinger off that wander the left foot of his. Wellington on high alert. Out of the shadows from Goodwin towards the far post. Yull again had it at his feet but couldn't quite find room for a shot.
Kikianis all by himself. It was almost an absolute replication of how the Wellington Phoenix scored. This time, down the other end for Adelaide United.
Dekuli picks up some scraps. Yull is outside him. Jovanovic in the centre forward position, looking to get away from James with that little quick turn. A man in form, Luka Jovanovic, gets the shot away. It's blocked. It'll be another corner.
Well, this is where the Wellington Phoenix need to demonstrate resilience, because Adelaide United have come alive. And it's from the dead ball this time, but what a wonderful delivery. Craig Goodwin using everyone in front of Kikianis as a decoy. And the centre-back really should have got clean of contact on the ball. Jovanovic did himself. But again, desperate defending from the Phoenix keeps Adelaide at bay now.
Another corner from Goodwin. This one is towards Oluwayemi. He elects to punch. Giselle going to try and track it down. Instead, Wellington might come away with it. Edwards is going to have to charge after that one. He's not favourite. And Taladera will take it, rather Giselle will take it back to Smits.
Hey, someone's going to go to the ball.
I think that man on the ball is key for Adelaide United to start asserting more pressure and dictating terms at Sky Stadium.
You can't hold it. You can't hold someone who's on the ball.
Now a yellow card coming the way of Carlo Armiento here from Daniel Elder, first booking of the contest. I think the adjudication was that Carlo Armiento was just holding on to somebody. Was it Madana?
Looked that way, the right back. Again, wanted to test the line of the Wellington Phoenix, and Carlo Armiento probably thought, well, I don't fancy running back, so we'll try and stop things here and now. Yellow card, more than enough in the circumstances.
Second of the season for Carlo Armiento. Taladera and De Cooley looking to combine down Adelaide's left. Adelaide just starting to mount a case in the last few minutes, getting the ball to the feet of De Cooley and to Goodwin and getting Jovanovic involved. Kikianis with another ball forward. This time Madana does get the right side of Edwards. Goodwin. Alagic. Jovanovic. Still there for Adelaide, is it? The ball was aimed for Goodwin. Wasn't quite ready and it all fizzles out, but they are growing into the game now as we approach half-time, Adelaide.
You still get the sense that there's an impatience in Adelaide United, perhaps because of the scarcity of the first 30 minutes. That's how the tide has turned. 2/3 possession for Adelaide United in the last 5 minutes. Just wonder if they can build another phase in on top of what they're already showing. Can they get the ball back into Giselle? Get Alagic buzzing around in that centre channel. Draw the Phoenix in to create the space out wide. Give room for the likes of Madana and De Cooley and Craig Goodwin if he drifts out to that left-hand side.
Eze making a nuisance of himself again, as you so accurately described. Jacob doesn't give defenders a moment's rest.
Well, there's a shepherd on the sideline at the moment in the form of Giancarlo Italiano, who is at Eze all the time, barking at him. And that's an indication as to how the Wellington Phoenix want to get pressure on the ball. They want to disrupt. Don't give the opposition a moment. Be constantly nipping at the heels. So it's not as if the Phoenix are trying to deny Adelaide in a 1v1 battle. They want to stop the supply line.
Combination there to the right involving Nazarene and Sheridan. Now they'll try a different avenue. Kelly healed and with Edwards. Misplaced pass from Dan Edwards, and Smits will mop up for Adelaide. Just a couple of minutes of regulation time to go. I would imagine Giancarlo Italiano will be pretty satisfied with what he's seen. It's certainly a vast improvement on last week against MacArthur.
Daniel Elder just reminded Smits there that was a back pass. The number 22 wanted to pick it up and might have caused his side all sorts of grief right before half-time.
Madana again the target. Edwards not utterly convincing with the header, but does manage to complete the defending. This man Draker James again, as you identified, Jacob, just on the right-hand side of the back three, able to perhaps be a bit more varied in the way that he plays his passes.
I hear there from Giancarlo Italiano saying too late. Want to keep that tempo up, and as you note, Piney, James and Lucas Kelly-Hill, two confident operators on the ball. They look to be drifting wide, and then Nagasawa and Rufa got the ability to rotate to find the free spot in what becomes a back diamond.
Madana, he tracks it down, but Edwards is there. A bit of confusion in the penalty area as Hughes and Oluwayemi weren't on the same wavelength. Just a couple of nervous moments in the final minute of regulation time for Phoenix fans. Giselle looking to keep it going. And towards Johnny Yull. wide from Johnny Yull, the best chance Adelaide have had.
Innovation from Dizelle. It comes about through self-infliction from the Wellington Phoenix. 3 players can't make their minds up as to who's going to manage the ball, and then Luke Dizelle, lovely flick into the run of Jovanovic. Johnny Yull also in attendance. There's a willingness from Adelaide at the moment, but the quality isn't showing through just yet.
One of the great super fans of the A-League, Redwick, Steve. Wonderful to have you here, mate. Follows the Reds, his beloved Reds, near and far. Part of a throng of Adelaide fans at the northern end. They'll be enjoying this. Craig Goodwin thought about the shot. Sets it up for Takuli! Goodness me. It's taken a deflection, but Yaya Takuli, the hands to the head as it left his boot. He must have thought it was goal-bound.
Well, everyone in black and yellow was concerned about the left boot of Craig Goodwin, but he puts it on a tee for Takuli. And for mine, I was expecting that to flash into the net. Josh Oluwayemi nowhere near it. James to thank for the intervention.
I'm not sure he knew too much about it. Mandraker James. Yaya Takuli, what a strike. Wellington on notice as we enter 2 extra minutes minimum at the end of this first half. Another corner for Adelaide. How they would love to square the ledger just before the break. Goodwin in towards Oluwayemi. Up in the air, and it'll be another corner.
James and Oluwayemi coming together there. I actually think that was the centre-back that got the all-important touch in front of his goalkeeper. Lots of talking, energy there for Oluwayemi. He appreciates that his side are under pressure. And the resilience that was talked about in pre-game will have to emanate out from him.
Change in penalty taker. Luke Dizelle will bend this one towards goal. Kelly Hill with the header away. We've had the extra 2 minutes. We're in the hands of Daniel Elder. He's happy for play to continue for the meantime. Now the whistle goes to the lips and the first half comes to an end here at Sky Stadium. And probably one of the more impressive halves of football produced by the Wellington Phoenix this season, particularly at home. Alex Rufer's goal in the lucky 13th minute has his side in the lead. Half-time here. Wellington Phoenix 1, Adelaide United 0.
No mai hoki mai, welcome back to Sky Stadium, and wow, do we have a game on our hands. The score says 1-0 here. Those people are on their phones at the moment because wow, we have had a fantastic first half where we asked for energy. You guys asked for passion, Ben Sigmund, and did the Phoenix not deliver?
Yeah, well, I think maybe Jacob and I could be the coach, really. They kind of pretty much came out and did everything that we asked them to do. So, like, hats off to them. I am just super stoked that they've come out firing.
It's been enjoyable sitting next to you watching this game because you have just been getting more and more fired up throughout the game. But let's have a look at this first goal from captain Alex Rufer. This seemed like something out of the playbook.
Yeah, and look, Alex has peeled off out the back post and no one's marked him, followed him at all or anything, and it's been a nice little tap-in for him, to be fair.
Could you see it coming? Because this is, as I understand it, the 33rd attempt from a corner that the Knicks have done this year where they haven't been able to convert, but number 33 seemed to be the magic corner for them.
Well, he skied one over earlier on in the first half, which made me think, oh shit, where's this one going to go? But absolutely followed through. Right in the screaming in the bottom of the net, and couldn't have asked for a better finish from Alex.
He is a cool and calm operator, and we're going to see more leadership from him in this second half coming up. But first, let's have a look at Adelaide's chances, because it did seem to feel like the momentum shifted towards the end of that first half, Ben.
Yeah, it certainly did, and this is where the Phoenix need to be really, really careful. And you know, looking at that opportunity, and there's just a little bit of a mix-up with their Josh there at the goal. You know, coming in at 1-1 would have undone so much hard work in that first half from the Phoenix.
And this is a game where you cannot give a team an inch. Yes, that was another sky-high goal, but the Phoenix can't afford to be resting on their laurels. What do you think they're going to be hearing in the changing rooms from Giancarlo Italiano at halftime?
Well, right now it's going to be keep doing the same. That high press, they're mixing up the passes like we asked them to, short balls, long balls, but the pressure is really, really solid from the Phoenix, and that's what we've asked, and I think they're doing a great job up top.
It's also been interesting seeing the two coaches side by side. Ayrton Andreoli has been sitting down quite a lot during this game, but let's have a look at these stats, because I'm going to put 2 and 2 together and suggest maybe there'll be a bit more of a vocal halftime commentary from him. What stands out from you, Siggy?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I thought the possession might be a little bit more favoured in the Phoenix, but it's actually not. So it's actually quite even in a lot of those things. Passes, Phoenix have had a few more. Adelaide aren't doing too bad, because from watching it seemed like the Phoenix absolutely dominated all those facts, but it's actually Adelaide have actually held their own a little bit there.
One thing that I can't help but point out is shots on target. Wellington have had 3 shots on target, which is an improvement from last week, wasn't it, when they only had 1?
Yeah, and that's what we want, right? Ize's working really hard up the top, and he's probably would have been nice to see him score that second goal for the Phoenix. It would have taken the pressure off. All that hard work they've been doing would have been nice for a second goal going into the second half.
We're going to chat a little bit more about Efine Eze very shortly, but first, you have been loving this man, number 12, Dan Edwards, on debut. He is having a stellar performance today, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's what we asked from him at the start, wasn't it? It was like, put pressure on, work hard, make your tackles. He's doing all that for us, and everyone's following him. He's leading by example, and the whole team is actually doing it right through the 11 that's been playing that first half.
Passes in final third 8. What more do you want to see from him in this next half?
It'd be good to just see him keep getting in goal-scoring opportunities. The ball's going wide to him as well, and we spoke about that. Rather than playing all through Alex Rufer, it's gone out wide to Edwards as well, and he's just being that other the wide option where the boys can play it out there, and he's getting in behind that back line of Adelaide.
The sun is coming, beaming down into my eyes. I can barely see you there, mate. And I think it's maybe something that Efine Eze had an issue with right in front of the goal. There was a ball that dropped right in front of him, and he just couldn't quite crack it, could he?
No, and as I said, it would have been nice to see that one go in for him. He's working exceptionally hard. You can't fault his work rate, which I really love about him as a striker. I think now, you know, again, there's another that headering opportunity. It's a good opportunity. It's a good chance. And I think now he just needs to take that opportunity and put one in the back of the net for the team.
Well, the chances are there, the energy is there. It does seem that this team certainly have got their tails up. But now let's chat to Ricardo Ball from Betcha.
Thanks, Ash. Yeah, as you can see, well, things have turned around in the head-to-head market, aren't they? The Phoenix were $3.65 to win before kickoff, now in at $1.50. If you think it's going to stay the same score, Nick's 1-0, that's $4. Adelaide pull one back in a 1-1 draw, $4.50. Or Adelaide do average 2 goals a game, so Adelaide 2-1 pays $9.50, I should say. $4.50 is what you can get for Craig Goodwin to score any time. He has scored 10 against the Knicks in history. And what about over 1.5 goals second half? That makes sense to me. $2.05. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Ricardo. We have a lot more exciting football action coming up for you after the break. But don't forget, we have both New Zealand teams at home this week. Tomorrow, Auckland face the Newcastle Jets after a hard-fought draw against against a Brisbane Roar. I'm going to find my words after the break. Do not go anywhere.
And Vidic is in again and finds the equaliser. Freeze with the whip off the crossbar. Full time at Go Media Stadium. We are unable to find a winner. Corica rues the result.
Let's put it this way, I think we were very poor today. I think it's probably one of the worst performances we played since I've been here, so probably wasn't worth it in the end, was it, really? Yeah, I would have stayed at the beach myself.
Newcastle Jets. Is it easy to get motivated for that?
Through Daniel Wilmering.
Remarkable! Gibson turning, Gibson scoring!
I think we've got to be motivated for every game. All the things that we do really well, we didn't do today. We got bullied, to be honest with you.
There is an element of this team that enjoys being the villain.
We wanted to build from the Wellington game.
28 seconds is all it took. And Auckland have a second.
We've got an opportunity next week against Newcastle to do that.
goal that separates the sides, provided by Wellington Phoenix captain Alex Rufer. The Phoenix finally successful from the corner on the 33rd attempt. Let's get to sideline now. Ash Tulloch's alongside Wellington Phoenix goalkeeping coach Dylan Cope.
You walked out of the sheds with a smile on your face there, Dylan. How are you feeling after that first half?
Yeah, good. We started a lot harder, which is what we were looking for, reaction from the boys. A good start, but they've seemed to come a lot more into the game, getting their sixes on the ball a lot more, so might have to change the way we press now in the second half.
Yeah, wins have been hard to come by here in Wellington of late. What do you need to do in the second half to hold on to this?
I think we need to stay focused, keep the energy we had in the first half, and for us, keep a clean sheet. It'll be really important, obviously, to see out the game like that.
Thanks, Dylan. All the best.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Yeah, well, the currency of goalkeepers is clean sheets. The unfortunate news for Phoenix fans is that Wellington haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 17 A-League men's games. The last one was a 0-0 draw against the Mariners in Christchurch in round 16 last season. In the 17 matches since, they have conceded at least one goal. So, I mean, the equation's simple, Jake. You don't concede today, you take 3 points. Can the Phoenix stop this run of clean sheets or lack of clean sheets and earn all 3 points today?
Well, it'll be a reassuring result for the Wellington Phoenix. They're halfway to getting at the moment, but expect an energised Adelaide United, especially in the first 15 minutes of the second half. I think the answer to your point in relation to the clean sheet lies much further north of Josh Oluwayemi. Spoke about Giancarlo Italiano focusing all of his energy in getting that intensity in the front line. Do not let Adelaide United settle into a rhythm. Expect that to continue into the second half.
Second half underway here in Wellington. The home side, the Phoenix, now kicking from left to right, down towards the city end, the southern end, the yellow fever end of Sky Stadium. Adelaide United in the light strip, attacking the northern end of the venue, right to left on your screen, towards their clutch of fans. Early opportunity in the second half for Amiento! What a save by Smits. That is top-class goalkeeping.
Wow! That screamed off the foot of Carlo Amiento. Drops the shoulder, gets the space. Has plans for that top right-hand corner, but Smits comes up big early on in the second half.
Stunning piece of goalkeeping from Josh Smits. Wellington have earned a corner, though, as a throng of players gather around Josh Smits in the 6-yard box. Nagasawa delivers. It's not a good delivery. Jovanovic deals with it easily. It's disappointing for Wellington.
What a tremendous hit that was, and brilliant piece of goalkeeping from Smits.
Yeah, the Dutchman between the sticks for Adelaide United this season. Just a terrific piece of action.
I'll give you another look at that when we get a chance, but arguably the moments of the match. The question and response.
Yeah, Carlo Amiento must have thought his third goal of the season had arrived. He got all of it, didn't he? And it was top corner bound, but for Josh Smits' spectacular intervention. Amiento looking to set something up with Edwards. Trying to get on the end of a return pass, and it's like he almost gave it up. Perhaps he had done the sums in his head. Here's that shot again.
Just look at the patience. Works it onto his left foot. Amiento snarls that one in, but it's clawed out by Smits. What a brilliant angle that is. The athleticism of the goalkeeper matching the venom in the strike.
It's been a good acquisition for Ayrton Andrioli's side. Josh Smits, the 32-year-old.
Really curious to see how Adelaide try and get pressure on the ball, and they haven't done it here as Wellington evade them.
Nazarene gets a return pass from Edwards in the area. Remy Nazarene sets it up for Rufa, outside of the foot, aiming for Sheridan. Taladera in the way. Rufa getting involved a lot in those little pockets. Remy Nazarene! That was a lot more comfortable for Smits.
Positivity to start the second half for the Wellington Phoenix. They are keen on maintaining their protagonist status.
Rufa's going to win possession back. Here's another opportunity for Carlo Armiento. And that one doesn't threaten Josh Smits' goal. But the Phoenix have a taste for it in the first 5 minutes of the second half.
Well, emotions are up, energy's high. That's Nazarene's hit. Hits across the ball, a little bit of a wobble on it. And this is the one where I think Armiento just needs to regulate a bit. Had runners outside him, could have used them.
Here is Nazarene again, and gee, the shots are raining in on Josh Smits. That's about the fourth one in 4 minutes in this second half.
Well, Nazarene this time with an arm of apology. It was Armiento with a rueful look before. And what we're going to see in the replay is, look at the run this time from Nagasawa, all by himself down the right-hand side. Before, it was Eze who had peeled out from that central channel. Eyes for goal for the Wellington Phoenix, but just need to lift and view the horizon, because there are better options out there at the moment as Giancarlo Italiano's men try and take advantage of this early pressure.
Lots of intent, shots on goal, but no change to the half-time score. This time it's Hughes into Armiento. Eze outside. Nazarene there too. Armiento goes down in the area. The referee says that is a penalty.
Well, he's earned it and he wants the ball. There is nothing in the way of argument from Bart Friens. It's come in the 50th minute, but it started in the 46th. The Wellington Phoenix have been at the heels of Adelaide United. It is one in the midfield by Nazarene. He found Armiento, and Armiento turned, twisted, tried to wriggle away from a challenge, but it came in the form of Bart Friens, and it has resulted in the Wellington Phoenix looking at the goal from 12 yards out.
And it's Remy Nazarene. Now, Ifeanyi Eze had the ball. Nazarene has taken it off him. 2 of his 3 penalties in his A-League career have been successful for Remy Nazarene. 107th A-League game. Just the 5 goals previous to today. Can he open his Phoenix account and double the advantage? Remy Nazarene. The crowd will tell you that Wellington have a 2-goal buffer, courtesy of one of their new men, Remy Nazarene, who opens his account for Wellington, scores their second in the afternoon, and gives the Knicks a bit of breathing space.
We have an upset on our hands. Adelaide United, so good last week, really have not been able to get into a rhythm, and now they find themselves 2 goals down against the Wellington Phoenix. Happily will take their spot as the protagonist. Positivity has defined the second half, and it's Remy Nazarene who rolls that one beyond Smits and extends the divide between these two sides.
Well, Bart Friens has played a lot of football. He gave himself up, didn't he? He knew as soon as he made contact with Armiento that the whistle would be forthcoming, and was. Remy Nazarene, first goal since round 25 of last season when he scored for Western United against Perth Glory. That was in April of this year. A very important first goal for Wellington for Remy Nazarene, and really, given the weight of chances Wellington have had already in the second half, you can't say they don't deserve it.
No, and Carlo Armiento, after winning that penalty, went sideline for a celebratory sip of pickle juice. It's a hot afternoon here in the capital, and Armiento clearly wants to go the distance. He's in the mood.
So Phoenix fans will no doubt be wanting Wellington to continue in the same fashion, to continue to be positive, to play with intent. What's the mindset at 2-0 ahead compared to 1-0 when you do have that buffer? Still a long way to go. How much temptation is there, though, to try and sit in and maybe protect that lead?
Time! Well, this is to a certain extent uncharted territory for the Wellington Phoenix. They've had to work their way into games. Allowed opponents back in to those moments where the resilience has slipped for Giancarlo Italiano. And now, 2-0 up against a side that has looked ever so good.
They haven't been 2-0 up this season. They've been 2-0 down early against Perth Glory and came back to draw that one 2-2. But as you say, uncharted territory for this group of players against a highly credentialed opponent with plenty of attacking weaponry, both on the pitch now and on the bench. But here come the Phoenix looking for another. Eze and Smits together. Good penalty area management from Josh Smits that time.
It was in front of Eze. But here's a really interesting stat for you. Why have Adelaide United been nullified? Well, you could argue it's because the Wellington Phoenix have been so astute in their possession. And just look how the possession here this afternoon matches up against that of a side that has been pretty volatile in the Wellington Phoenix. The consistent has been their ability to keep the ball and to dictate terms for large periods of the game.
Wellington keen to keep it down this end, and they've won themselves another corner. Well, Yellow Fever have had pretty slim pickings here in the last couple of weeks. The 2-1 loss to 9-man Auckland FC in the derby. A 1-0 defeat by MacArthur last week with just the one shot on target in the entire game. 2-0 ahead. We've got 13 attempts on goal logged by our stats team, 6 of those on target in 55 minutes here, and a 2-goal lead.
That's a multiple of most weeks, but it's a tectonic shift from last week.
Armiento going to line up the latest corner into a crowded 6-yard area and missed by everybody. And Nagasawa not able to reel it in.
In terms of the game management from the Wellington Phoenix, as Ben Sigmund said, more of the same is what the message would have been at half-time. The question is, how long can this group of players deliver on that? If you look to the bench, they do have energy and impact, plenty there for the Phoenix.
Rufer was thinking about a pass out to Edwards, decided instead to go through Kelly Heald. It's going to find its way through to Eze. Good tackle from Kikianis, needed to. Armiento stayed down for the meantime, back to his feet now.
Well, that was a wonderful piece of defending from Kikianis. Very much a 60-40 in favour of the Adelaide United defender, but against Eze, the full-blooded commitment, I mean, that had to be matched. There had to be energy from Kikianis.
Eze, can he get there ahead of Smits? Green's shoulder to shoulder with Ifeanyi Eze, nothing wrong with it. Dizelle looks up, sees Takuli in the right wing channel. Jovanovic in the area, so too Johnny Yull arriving. Takuli inside, goes down. Is that a penalty? Referee says yes, indeed. Lucas Kelly Heald, the culprit. He wagged the finger, which is always, I reckon, a dangerous sign. And Yaya Takuli has earned Adelaide the opportunity to reduce the deficit.
Well, Smits has been the hero at one end. He turns into a quarterback, finds Luke Dizelle in a pocket, and from there, Adelaide rush forward. And it ends with this challenge by Lucas Kelly Heald on Yaya Takuli. Kelly Heald perhaps thinking that the winger might try and go outside him. And looking at that, it is marginal, but there's a question about the contact.
Have a look at the side. Have a look at the side
what you're hearing there, we'll just pause, because Giancarlo Italiano is telling the assistant referee, you need to have a look at this. Have a look at the side angle, is what he said.
Yeah, Kay Jackowitz in the VAR booth has recommended that Daniel Elder have another look at this, and the replay we just saw suggested very little contact. In real time, at first look, it did look like a penalty. Let's have a look here.
As Kelly Hield steps across De Cooley, you're expecting contact to be made on the right leg of De Cooley. And I'm sorry, but I can't see much of it there. There might be some minor contact on the left toe, but De Cooley, you could suggest, is looking for a reason to go down, and it looked very convincing. For mine, that was a penalty from this wide angle.
Yeah, it looks as though De Cooley drags the right foot across Kelly Hield. Let's see what Daniel Elder has adjudicated here, having had a look at the screen.
After on-field review, there is no contact. The decision is simulation.
So rather than a chance to reduce the deficit, Yaya De Cooley, I think, is going to get a yellow card for simulation.
Well, that is the argument for VAR. In real time, from the angles that we were showing you, and what Daniel Elder would have seen as well, that looked a dead-set penalty. It was bad defending from Kelly Hield. He lunged in, he bit, and then De Cooley ended up prone on the ground, but the low angle, the side-on view suggests that De Cooley was looking for the contact, and it might have just been coincidentally that it didn't come, Piney. There we go, that's what we're talking about. And the Wellington Phoenix fans singing VAR.
Yeah, VAR is their friend today, and you have to say the decision's correct. Yaya De Cooley just dragging that foot across Lucas Kelly Hield, looking for the contact. That is not a penalty and has been overturned. Isaac Hughes charging in on Johnny Yole. He was putting everything into that piece of defending, Isaac Hughes. As we go past the hour mark, both sets of substitutes warming up. You'd have to think Etan and Grioli at some stage will look to add some attacking spark. He might get it from Madana. Well, I'm pretty sure Joshua Olowomi had done the sums in his head. Well, you'd have to hope he has.
I think he had the angles sorted out. Had a long run up. Madana there, some way from the goal, and Olowomi marshals that one wide. But coming to the defence of Yaya De Cooley, cuts it on the left foot. Arguably, he's still got a very good chance to score there. But when he sees Lucas Kelly Hield lunging and he's heading back away from goal, he gambles. And he thinks the contact's going to come. And by chance, I would argue it doesn't. Result being, though, we get the VAR intervention.
And Draker James had joined the attack to break up play, but now he's out of position. That'll be a yellow card for Dan Edwards. The pull on the shirt. I'll come back to it because Madana has got away from him. De Cooley there as well. Yaya De Cooley on a tight angle. Back into the path of Madana. Well, everything was so eye-catching up until then. Dan Edwards going to pick up a yellow card here, I'm sure of it, because he had the handful of shirt.
Well, that might be Dan Edwards' last involvement for this afternoon. The man on debut injected energy into the Wellington Phoenix for the first 45 minutes, but as you said, match fitness might not be there for that man that takes the warm embrace of the yellow fever.
I think it's a pretty decent starting debut for Dan Edwards. He's emptied the tank. First A-League start and gets the handshake from Giancarlo Italiano. Finrock Honchi into the action for the last half hour, having started the first 5 matches of the season. Luke Tung there, the assistant, with a warm embrace for Dan Edwards. He'll watch now and hope that his teammates can see this one out. Eze, what a turn. Ifeanyi Eze. Well, Green's got back pretty well to block the shot. But Ifeanyi Eze He really is like a box of chocolates, isn't he? You do not know from week to week what he's going to turn up.
Such a combustible one-on-one. Greens against Eze. Senior central defender. Always live to the threat of Eze, but not quite sure where it's going to pop up. Just does so well, wrestles his own space, creates his own chances. That time, Freens at full stretch. Just does enough to nullify the gunpowder in the shot.
So Edson Andrioli has the likes of Austin Ayubi, Ryan White, who scored his first A-League goal last weekend, on his bench. He could go to one of his debutantes. He said before the game he was looking forward to seeing how those who might get opportunities would seize those chances. Nagasawa does well into Nazarene. Rufa with Conchi, who turned into trouble. It's a foul by Roy Conchi in his eagerness to get the ball back on Johnny Yell.
Of course, what the change means with Dan Edwards leaving the field is that Carlo Armiento will now slot into that left wing-back role. Finn Roy Conchi will occupy the number 10 role, as he has done for large chunks of these first 5 games that precede this afternoon.
I think Dan Edwards might have done enough to perhaps earn a start in the derby next weekend in his hometown. What an occasion that might be. Latest Adelaide attack comes to nothing as Isaac Hughes looks to find Eze, who does brilliantly to keep that in, then sets off. Brings Nagasawa in. Now Nazarene's in the area. Over the far side was Roy Conchi arriving. Armiento helps it back in. On the edge, Sheridan. Out to Nagasawa. Well, Finn Roy Conchi's never scored a goal for Wellington. This is his 26th appearance. Isaac Hughes with the tackle there. Mandrake James tidying up. Rufa sucks a foul in midfield from Luke Dizelle.
Well, let's have a look at this chance. This is so well worked. Eze with a brilliant touch. Not only does he get it under control, he pirouettes and turns it into a 1v1. Nagasawa down the right. And somehow it evades Nazarene and Roy Conchi. That should be 3-0. That should be daylight extended and the Phoenix out of sight.
Yep, Gilten's chance. Carlo Armiento helps that one back in. Josh Schmidt saw it coming from a long way out. 25 minutes to go, still no absolute movement on Adelaide United's bench.
Well, there's been a few names that we haven't mentioned this afternoon. One of them's Craig Goodwin. Hasn't got on the ball anywhere enough for Andrioli. He's taken up multiple positions, but each time the Phoenix live to the threat. And then Luke Dizelle and Ethan Allegich, 2 names that we haven't mentioned in the middle of the park for Adelaide.
We've mentioned this guy a lot, Dakuli, trying to free up Jovanovic. He's looked the most likely, hasn't he, Yaya Dakuli, on the occasion of his 50th game for Adelaide, the most likely to set something up.
Almost did. Perhaps ruining that chance now where he gets in on his left foot. Went down, could have got a shot off. Probably was Adelaide's most important attack of the afternoon.
Madana takes it away from Armiento. Here's Dakuli again, can't quite get the touch, and Roy Conchi getting back. Falls though to Allegich. Spits out to Madana. Panache Madana to the line and earns a corner.
Talked about the energy in advance of the midfield for the Wellington Phoenix. But credit also needs to go to the man in the middle of your picture at the moment. The one that opened the scoring, Alex Rufa. If Luke Dizelle and Ethan Allegich have been rare sightings this afternoon, it's because of the midfield battle at the moment being won by the Wellington Phoenix, largely because of that man.
Craig Goodwin shields his eyes from the sun and then whips one into the 6-yard area. And Taladera! How has that missed? How on earth has that not gone in from Fabian Taladera?
Sky Stadium in shock. That must have been close to crossing the line half a dozen times in the space of 2 seconds.
I can't do the geometry on that one, I really can't. How has that stayed out? Fabian Taladera, in just his 6th A-League men's match, the 19-year-old must have thought his first goal was forthcoming.
Well, he ends up giving away the free kick as Matt Sheridan gallops through. But let's try and take a look and understand how this doesn't end up in the back of the net. It's a defendable cross. The Wellington Phoenix don't do that, though. And Taladera at the back post. Yes, the angle's tight, but does almost enough to force it into the back post. He actually plays the ball through Matt Sheridan. And then Lucas Kelly-Hield, with great mindfulness, I suppose, in the moment, he just lets that one go.
Yeah, seen defenders put those in their own net plenty of times. Lucas Kelly-Hield with good awareness. So free kick coming the way of Wellington. Amiento and Nagasawa. Amiento leaves it for Nagasawa this time. Crowd find their voice. Carlo Amiento, he's going to line up a shot. Smith saves. Spits back out to Nazarene, far post. Eze now James. Goodness me, Josh Smits is keeping Adelaide in this game and is getting involved in some little shenanigans there, but sets Madana away.
It's unorthodox, but it is unpredictable. And that perhaps is the most dangerous part about it. The Wellington Phoenix have been so methodical in their build-ups and the way they want to play. Well, this is very different. Not only is it the shot from that sort of angle, but the fact that your centre-back attempts a scissor kick at the back post. It's a hit and a half, but it's not the first time I've seen it this afternoon.
Here they come again. Roll Conchi sets up. Eze. It's a tough angle, and for once his touch lets him down. The unpredictability of Ifeanyi Eze. He's always in the middle of it all. As Corbin Piper and Schwinn Loke get set to make their entrance, and it'll be a triple change at the same time for Adelaide United.
The interesting thing for Andrioli is who's going to come off. So I suspect there's some usually important cogs that might end up on the scrap heap of this game.
They might get a chance perhaps to redeem themselves. Johnny Yeller's away from James, but only momentarily. The Canadian with the interception, and here come the changes. Austin Ayubi is going to take the place of Luke Dizelle. We're going to see Johnny Yole make way as well. There's Austin Ayubi into the action. And Craig Goodwin, as you say. Jacob, one of those sacrificed.
Goodwin, Dizelle, and Johnny Yule. Names that have been important for Andrioli as Adelaide have ascended in the first part of the season, but today not up to the standard.
And amongst all that, there is an A-League debut for Joey Garuccio in 65 for Adelaide United, the 19-year-old. The surname is familiar. He is the cousin of Ben Garuccio, over 200 A-League men's games, including 50 of those for Adelaide. Now with Sydney FC, so Joey Garuccio, a special moment for the 19-year-old as he makes his A-League debut.
Big moment for the young man. The latest product off the floor of this Adelaide football factory.
So in amongst all that as well, Piper and Loke on for Nazarene and Amiento. So all change out there in all sorts of areas. Ball had gone out as Corbin Piper looked to keep it going. It's confirmation of all the changes. Ayubi, White and Garuccio into the action for Dizelle, Goodwin and Yull. Alagich looks to set away the youngster. Here he is, Joey Garuccio. What an introduction! What an introduction for Joey Garuccio! Was that his first touch of the ball? The 19-year-old off the bench on debut and brings Adelaide United back to 2-1.
A brilliant blend of complementary parts. And to be honest, it's something we haven't seen this afternoon. Adelaide United breaking the line. It's a run from deep. Garuccio hangs on, he stays onside, bursts through, and then look at the composure. Seconds into your A-League debut. Brushes that one beyond Oluwayemi. Well, the senior statesmen have departed. But it's a familiar story from Adelaide. The answers lie in the youth and the youngsters that infused change into this match.
Well, his heart must be jumping out of his chest. Adelaide United back to 2-1. Joey Garuccio writes a headline, but he'll hope there's more to come. Sent on by Etan Andrioli, who has no problem promoting youth into the first team.
Well, first goal. Oh, I haven't done the math yet. Might be the first minute, and could be with his first touch of the ball.
Well, the A-League's statistician Andy Howe might be working overtime to find out whether any A-League player has ever scored with their first touch of the football. Regardless of any of that, we've got a game on here with 15 minutes to go. Adelaide United, who for long periods of this game have played second fiddle to the home team, are now well and truly in the contest. Taladera through the back of Rufer just to ease the pressure valve ever so slightly.
Well, the willingness from Taladera there. You can feel the breeze at the backs of the Adelaide players and the glow of Garuccio's goal. Unfortunately, his shoulder just went square into the back of the Wellington Phoenix captain, who's more than happy to let the air out of that attack.
So once again, no clean sheet for Wellington. 18 straight games without keeping a clean sheet. We're told that Joey Garuccio had a couple of touches perhaps before that one, so even so, it was instant impact from the 19-year-old. What will Wellington's response be? Eze. Piper's in the area. Eze looking for room. And Kikianis, they celebrate together, Kikianis and Smits, for keeping Eze at bay for the meantime.
Well, Eze worked that one himself, tried to wriggle his way beyond Kikianis. The defender stuck to his task. Look at the discipline. Watches the ball the whole way, waits and waits. And there's the touch that he bites on. This match is going to be open now. The Wellington Phoenix are committed. There's substitutes to the attacking third. So have Adelaide United. There's tiring players to mix it all in. I don't think the scoring's done here.
No, I think you're dead right. Feels like there's more to come in this game. Kazuki Nagasawa will have to delay the corner because Ifeanyi Eze looks like he's cramping up. Ethan Elagich was lending a hand. Bana Kikianis says, don't help him out, he needs to go off. Ethan Elagich, I think, was just being, well, initially anyway, being a good citizen to try and help out. Ifeanyi Eze doesn't look like he's going anywhere. They have a valid point, don't they? If he's cramping up, you need to leave the field. It's an absolutely legitimate complaint that Adelaide have.
You can see that Daniel Elder's patience has been tested. He's asked the Wellington Phoenix to help Ifeanyi Eze off the field.
So the Phoenix will line up the latest corner with only 10 on. Ifeanyi Eze would probably quite like to be on the pitch for an attacking corner. That's not going to be the case. In the meantime, Nagasawa can deliver. It's a deep one towards Piper. Tipped over by Smits.
Well, Piper creates that one all by himself. It's good delivery, but it's going away from Corbin Piper. He's going away from goal. Look at the strength, get that back in on the target, looping and under Smith's crossbar.
Nagasawa takes the next corner. Eze's back on. He's going to find his way across to Roa Conchi, who thinks the last touch was off an Adelaide player. That's why he let it go. In fact, it was off a Phoenix player. So Ifeanyi Eze is back on the pitch. Rather unusual piece of play that. Ryan White earns the foul. So Ifeanyi Eze is going to be substituted now and replaced by Anaru Cassidy. Just his second appearance for the Phoenix. He debuted in round 3 against the Mariners. Eze takes his leave after another typically energetic performance. How's this for a full name? Anaru Henri Carbonato Cassidy. That is a footballer's name.
Foresight. Projection from home, which has been realised now as Cassidy gets stuck into the last 10 minutes of an intriguing tussle.
Much more to come here, and amongst all of this, as we know, the age-old tradition of the Phoenix leading at 80 minutes might also be enacted shortly. Piper's off on a run. Smits is out with the head. 80 minutes have elapsed. And off come the shirts in yellow fever. It's been a rare sight this season. A sight for sore eyes, you might say.
Not sure if he's part of the celebrations or not, but yellow fever have had to wait, as you said there, Piney. But they're enjoying this one, and an unexpected shirts off for the yellow fever.
Another change coming for Adelaide. Another youngster, 19-year-old Harry Crawford. His first minutes since round 1 against Sydney. He's going to replace Panache Madana, who's done a good job at right back in the absence of Dylan Parias today. He's got up and down, emptied his tank, and he'll watch the final 10 minutes from the bench as well. Nagasawa looking to find Piper. Well, a week ago, when the Phoenix played Macarthur here, it was a game with not a heck of a lot to recommend it, to be brutally honest. But the 80 minutes here today have been compelling, and as you say, Jacob, it feels like there's more to come.
Well, Ayubi and Garuccio taking up residence down this left-hand side. It's almost lopsided now for Adelaide United. Crawford taking up a high and wide position. There's not much down the left, but clearly Andrioli can see that midfield getting stretched. He's deploying his runners into the heart of the Wellington Phoenix. They've had to retreat so often, this defensive unit. The midfield's got through the kilometres as well. Andrioli seeking to leverage the fatiguing side.
Nagasawa into the path of Piper. His touch takes him wide. Crawford is touched tight. Still there for Piper. Arufa. Nagasawa. Schwinn-Loke. Cleared by Taladera. Not cleared though as Nagasawa picks up the scraps. Ayubi is back. And Nagasawa through on a Ayubi, I fancy. Perhaps it was Loke, either way. Free kick coming the way of Adelaide United and Austin Ayubi on the receiving end.
A combination of Nagasawa and Loke. Jumped upon Ayubi to deny progression further forward. It did feel like Loke might have been able to take that with a touch onto goal. The runners weren't quite there.
Hang on a second! Onto the roof of the net. Josh Oluwaimi was dozing. Now that was either Vreens or Kikianis, I think. And Josh Oluwaimi, I don't think has ever been more pleased. That was an Elegich.
We'll have to see that again. I think it might even be White. That's one of the combination. It came from nothing and almost made a spectacular highlight. Oluwaimi ends up in the net. The ball almost did as well.
I think it might have been Ethan Elegich. Well, that would have been an absolute specky to draw Adelaide level. Forgetting that Wellington went 2-0 ahead in this one. The arrival of Joey Garuccio off the bench helped Adelaide pull one back. Ball forward towards Piper. Can he get the right side of Vreens? Kikianis is there as well. 2-on-1, and the experience of Bart Vreens. All of that experience from the Dutch veteran. And he jogs away, nonplussed by it all. Just doing the job, he says, and doing it so well. The thumbs up now for Smits.
We're talking about the energy and enthusiasm that Adelaide have deployed up against the Wellington Phoenix backline. Well, Adelaide's rear guard will need to be mindful of Corbin Piper. He'll be a lone runner, but a very willing one.
Ball played forward towards Taladera, picked up by Elegich. Cleared by Schwinn-Loke.
Giancarlo Italiano demanding higher work rate from Corbin Piper. He needs to doggedly run down everything, as Eze did for the first 75 minutes. Cannot be passive, cannot allow Adelaide to settle into a rhythm. It's been the cornerstone of this Wellington Phoenix performance this afternoon.
Taladera. Ayubi wanted it. Instead, it's into the penalty area. What a shot, what a save! DeCooley and Josh Oluwaimi with a save. Handball against an Adelaide player, but Yaya DeCooley, he's looked most likely all afternoon, arriving on the volley, and Josh Oluwaimi with a big, big save.
Well, massive mahi last week from Oluwaimi. Came away with nothing that afternoon. This week, that save keeps all 3 points in the grasp of the Wellington Phoenix. That is a huge save. That rivals anything that we've seen down the other end of the Smits, and we have seen some very decent goalkeeping this afternoon.
The minutes can't go by quick enough for Wellington Phoenix players, coaching staff and fans. 4 to go plus stoppages, and there'll be a few. Taladera becoming more and more prominent, but he couldn't find his mate Joey Garuccio in the centre forward position that time. They've played a lot of football together, those two, both 19. Looking to combine to find an equaliser.
Well, since the substitutions have been made, the Wellington Phoenix have had a different task to contend with. Ethan Elegich is now deeper, and he's picking up the ball and facing forward with a lot more regularity. He's now in the shoes of Luke Dizelle, and he is dictating play from deep for Adelaide.
Well, if Wellington can hold on here, it would be a massive, massive result for them in the context of their still very young season, especially with Derby 2 looming on the horizon next Saturday at Go Media. What a boost they would get if they were to go in off the back of a win over one of the form sides of the competition in Adelaide United. There's our derby countdown.
How good. The 6th instalment of the New Zealand derby. Off the back of what was, in my opinion, the best derby of the lot so far.
Wellington have the ball where they want it. Sheridan's done well. Finds Cassidy. Anaru Cassidy. The exuberance of youth. Cassidy! Straight at Smith. The youngster's eyes lit up. He's played out here before, the second half of the 1-0 win over Wrexham back in July. First A-League game here at Sky Stadium. And Adelaide just about broke the line there, but for Mandraker James. 90 seconds plus stoppages remaining in this one. We're off to Gosford next for the Mariners against Melbourne City, then the Sydney derby. But don't take your eyes off this one. Elegich. Loke this time with the intervention. Nagasawa thought he was fouled. Referee says nothing to see here.
Go to the ball. Go to the ball.
And towards Elegich. Can Ethan Elegich have it come down for him? He thought that James might have got a touch. It was a rather half-hearted appeal, to be fair. And as we enter the final minute of regulation time, Wellington must feel it's close enough to touch. However, we're told there'll be a minimum of 6 extra minutes for them to negotiate. 6 extra minutes for Adelaide to make use of.
And what they're having to deal with is a Adelaide United side demonstrating the fluidity, the combination, the rotation that we were expecting for the first 80-odd minutes. They'll be buoyed by the fact that in the second half, they thought they won a penalty. They forced some good saves from Oloayemi. And importantly, they found the back of the net to halve the deficit.
Crawford joins the attack. All energy off the bench for Adelaide United, the likes of Crawford and Garuccio. And White, who has the ball now, Ryan White. A stunning run and shot to score his first A-League goal last weekend against Melbourne City. There's the confirmation of 6 extra minutes minimum, held up by 4th official Kelvin Berg. Crawford again, ball just gets away from him, into Jovanovic. Hughes got there ahead of him, De Cooley is there. All hands on deck for Wellington. De Cooley trying to get away from Kelly Heald. Just about has. And free kick goes the way of the home side, and De Cooley is furious.
You know, flip of a coin for which way that foul was going to go. De Cooley and Kelly Heald wrestling. De Cooley thought he got the right side of Kelly Heald. It's actually Cassidy, the young man, getting back and supporting his back line.
Yeah, De Cooley, what a player he is and could be for Adelaide United, still just 22 years of age. Piper and Nagasawa leading the line for Wellington. James with the header. No panic yet from Adelaide. Elegant turns the foul off Rufer.
Well, now it's a bit of a 2-1-7 in terms of formation. Even Smits is joining the back line, committing numbers forward.
White buzzing around. Slide ball pass, looking for Ayubi perhaps. And more precious seconds tick by. Man down in the area, I think it's Isaac Hughes for Wellington.
An unsung cog in this Wellington Phoenix machine. Seems to be clutching that knee. There's a few players that have got through a huge amount of work. And Isaac Hughes is one of those. This afternoon, been asked to do a different but all-important job at the heart of Giancarlo Italiano's rear guard.
Adelaide will go all the way back to Smits, who's been very, very good today, despite the concession of a couple of goals. One was a penalty, which he couldn't do a lot about, but a number of eye-catching saves from Josh Smits. Ball comes the way of Austin Ayubi. He sets off, and there's, I think, a suggestion of a head knock here for Fabian Taladera, and Daniel Elder does the right thing in calling play to a halt if that's the case. I think Adelaide United thought that they were in a pretty advantageous position there when Daniel Elder blew the whistle. But if he senses a head injury, then he's duty-bound to bring a halt to play.
Well, it's strong refereeing from Daniel Elder. It's unpopular.
Shouldn't he come off? He has to come off.
From Adelaide's perspective, but he's seen a player go up for a header, sandwich between two Wellington Phoenix defenders, and go down clutching his head.
It's not a free kick back. It's a drop ball.
So there's confusion over how we're going to restart. It should be a drop ball because no foul has been committed here. I think Daniel Elder's going to give the ball back to Adelaide because they had it at the time that he blew it up. Corbin Piper wants to know why it can't be contestable. This is just adding time on. We've had 4 of the extra 6, but there's bound to be another 90 seconds or so. Into the sunshine it goes. Max Sheridan is told by Kelly Hill just to get rid of it. Roa Conchi can't control it, and Adelaide will stay down the attacking end. Into the area it goes. And very clever from Kazuki Nagasawa to let that one go by.
Good awareness and astute defending from Nagasawa. Adelaide had started peppering the 18-yard. Italiano clearly not happy. The Phoenix have reverted to conservatism. The confidence that we saw the first 85 minutes played with has been absent in the last couple. It's been just get the ball forward, get it away from goal. Important that intensity wins out, desperation doesn't creep in from the Wellington Phoenix's perspective. Adelaide now not only up against 11 men behind the ball for the Phoenix, but also the clock.
We're into the last of the 6 minimum added minutes. Corbin Piper's done very well to keep that one in and soak up a few more seconds. What can he earn down in the corner? White is back and has about 100 metres to run. There will definitely be more than 6 minutes because of the stoppage for the head injury to Taladera. Cassidy can't hold on to possession. Tries desperately to get it back. Anaru Cassidy. Into the possession of Piper, who was fouled. More seconds soaked up.
Corbin Piper provides his team with an outlet. Austin Ayubi needed to get the ball back. Piper did enough to get a toe in it. And now James can send this long and far away from the Phoenix goal.
There'll still be time to play, says Daniel Elder. Adelaide drive it forward. And Austin Ayubi is going to haul this one in. Last chance perhaps for Adelaide Jovanovic. And Luka Jovanovic, who has been so good all season, couldn't find the target there. Joey Garuccio was there or thereabouts too. And is that the last opportunity for the visitors? There is life in the Wellington Phoenix. They climb from their recent rut to beat one of the competition's form sides and springboard themselves into next weekend's derby. How crucial might that performance, that result be when they look back upon this season? A turning point perhaps, a step in the right direction. the snapping of a losing streak, and 3 points, which for the meantime will catapult them into the top 6. So many talking points, so much to dissect. What a game of football as the coaches embrace at the end of it. A jubilant yellow fever, many of them shirtless, bearing witness to a very, very good performance from their side. Full time here at Sky Stadium. Wellington Phoenix 2, Adelaide United 1. Josh Oluwayemi with a massive save late on from Yaya Dakuli, who always looked most likely for Adelaide United. Rami Nazarene, and there's the starting debutant Dan Edwards